Hey, Rainbow here, and welcome to my channel. Let's put this to bed. This is the final time that I'm going to do a video on the gas mileage of the Ducati Multistrada V4. Whether it's the V4, V4S, it doesn't matter. This obviously doesn't count for the Pikes Peak version coming out because it's not out yet, and I don't expect it to be any different, if not maybe even worse. Okay, when I say worse, I'm not saying that in a negative way, because this bike is what it simply is. So let's look at this. What I have here is I have a chart. I've created a spreadsheet for all 120 times that I have filled up this motorcycle in the last 17,051 miles since the last time I put gas. So I have painstakingly made sure that I have recorded every single time that I put gas in this motorcycle. I put down the odometer, I put down the gallons, I verify that the miles driven for that previous tank is recorded. From there, I calculate my miles per gallon, as you can see in column E, and then F is the miles left based on whatever the average is. So for example, let's look at here. I put in 4.07 gallons in this one, okay, after going 141 miles, which means I averaged 34.64 miles to the gallon, but I could have gone basically another 6 miles if you look at my little calculation here, the 5.8 gallon capacity minus what was left, what I took out, 4.07, and then I multiply that times what I was averaging, which is the E column, and technically I could have gone another 60 miles had I taken it right down to empty. So that's what this miles left is based on the average on column E, okay? But the bottom line here is that your gas mileage is going to be all over the place based on your right wrist. How you drive, how you ride this motorcycle is everything, okay? So what I've done is I've recorded that my lowest mileage here was 27.01 miles per gallon. My highest, I averaged 41.52, which was awesome. Now, if I take and I leave a half of a gallon left, and let's just say once I get down to 5.3 gallons, once I use 5.3 gallons and for safety I leave a half a gallon in there, that means that during my highest mileage I could have pulled into a gas station after 220 miles on this 5.8 gallon tank and filled up and would have been able to put the 5.3 back in. All right, same thing over here. Worst case scenario, I'm using 27.01 miles to the gallon and I want a half of a gallon left in the tank, half of a US gallon. That means I could go 143 miles, or could have gone 143 miles before I needed to fuel again. So let's look at the real big number. In 17,051 miles, I put in a grand total of 531.1 gallons. I have an average mile per gallon of 32.10. That is the average in 17,000 miles. This is what I'm trying to, this is why I'm making this video. I just want to prove the point here that this bike does actually get decent gas mileage for what it is. It's a V4 that's very thirsty. This thing has 170 horsepower. That's what's rated at. I'm sure at the rear wheel it's somewhere around 150, 155, but it still is a very powerful and good amount of torque on this bike, all right? On average, in the last 120 fill-ups, I have put in, on average, I just add in 4.43. So I typically leave a little over a gallon or so, a gallon and a third, a gallon and a quarter left in the tank when I refuel on average. Now, if I use that 4.8 gallons, and I go by my average of 32, then on average, if I want to pull into a gas station with 1 gallon left, right? Average miles per gallon times 4.8. 4.8 gallons means I'm going to use everything but the last gallon left in the tank. I can go 154 miles on average. If I want to take it down and only leave a half a gallon in a tank, right? 5.3 used, I can go on average about 170 miles. And of course, if I want to just run it dry based on my average, I know that I can put somewhere around 186 miles in here before I run out. Now, as you can tell by the number of gallons I've put in, now the first time I filled up, I just wanted to fill it up, and I put 3.5, basically 3.5 gallons into it. Most of the time you'll see it's 4 something. It's rare that you'll see a 5. Right here I put in 5.187 gallons. I went 184 miles, and I actually could have gone another 21 if I would have taken it to empty based on my average. It's rare that you're going to see a 5 here, but you will see some 5s, 5.081. So what this comes down to is, I ride this motorcycle a lot. In 17,000 miles, the average is 32.10. But when I go on the highway and I really take my time, and maybe I'll keep it at 72, 74, 78 miles per hour on the highway, I can get really good gas mileage, and I can blow some of these numbers away. When you look at the fact that I was able to at one point average 41.52 miles to the gallon, that says a lot. But when I feel like getting sporty and want to get a little stuck in traffic and zoom around a lot, and I'm going to be a lot more aggressive, yeah, I'm only going to get 27 miles to the gallon. And that is a significant, we're talking about a 14 mile an hour drop in miles per gallon, which is significant, but that's up to you and how you ride. Anyway, I thought you would find this interesting, since I'm geek enough to do this, and it looks like I'm going to be continuing to do this until maybe I decide I'm tired of doing this. But the bottom line is 17,000 miles, you're going to get an average of 32.10 miles to the gallon. Your mileage is going to vary. So if you are heavy on the throttle, you may never reach this, and some of you may be closer to 36, 35 to 40 on a regular basis, because maybe you don't have a lot of traffic where you're at, you're on nice country roads at an easy speed, then of course you're going to get more miles to the gallon. Anyway, this is Rainbow. Thought you might like this. This is the last time I'm going to do something like this for this particular bike. Like and subscribe if you want. I would certainly appreciate it, and have yourself a great day.